So, let's see how many people are laying down versus how many are sitting up. Most people are like, oh, I just want to get here and lay down. So let's start lying down, perhaps. I feel like it's the path of least resistance, you know, just lay down. So lay down.
I just worry if I actually lie down, I'll never get it.
Yeah, I know that feeling. So we'll just start lying down, and we want to arrive here. And that can take a little moment, can't it? So what I would like you to do is lie on the floor and just become aware. Have a look at the ceiling and sort of whether you're here or at home. So really getting into autumn now. When we started 8 weeks ago, we were just sort of stepping over the threshold of summer, but we're really in autumn now. So try to release the shoulders down towards the ground. And let the legs sort of drift out, so they're just sort of like rotating the knees out to the sides. Have a little wiggle of the feet and just find a little comfortable spot. So your feet are turned out and your shoulders are releasing. And without moving your head, look your eyes to the right hand side. So you're gazing to the right corner of your eyes without moving your head. And just sort of see what you can see in a funny way. Just looking to the right. So we're doing a little bit of vagus nerve releasing. But we're trying not to move our heads. And then we're going to keep the head not moving and look over to the left-hand side as far as you can see. And what you might see might look quite weird and abstract, but just go with that weird and abstract view. And then sort of notice the difference between gazing and sort of, you know, when people gaze into thin air sort of dreamily versus looking intently, and the difference quality of those two things. And then we're going to close our eyes, and then we're going to do some somanauting, so we're going inside the body. And we're really sort of switching up the intensity of what we can feel. So in yoga, there's called withdrawal of the senses. So we've closed our eyes, which is, for most of us, one of our main sense gatherers. And then notice the difference between listening, so listening and hearing. So one has an active principle, and one is more passive. And my hope is that you'll be listening to what I ask you to do and then just drinking in the sea of sounds around you without too much focus. So just feel the breath. Feel the breath moving into the body from the nostrils. Feel how the ribs move in response to the breath. Feel how the back moves in response to the breath. Feel how even the base of the pelvis moves in response to the breath. And this idea that the whole body moves as we breathe in, expanding in all directions, and coming back to its center as we exhale. And maybe lingering in that moment between breaths. And we'll just do 1 or 2 more really conscious breaths. So feeling like a detective, noticing all the places in the body where we move as we breathe in. And all the places we move in the body as we exhale. We're going to reach the arms up overhead, so just take the arms up overhead as much. If you find that your shoulders feel a little bit challenged, you could always rest your forearms on a block so that it's not so far for your arms to drop down. So as we start moving into autumn, we will be moving towards the lung and large intestine meridians, which are in the hands and arms. So just stretch your fingers away from you and spread your fingers and point your toes away from you and just sort of take up your space, spreading, expanding, breathing. And then we'll draw the arms back in. We're going to bend the legs so the soles of the feet come to the earth. And I want you to do one of these weird wiggly things that I asked you to do. So I want you to move down your mat like a centimetre at a time. So you're using your elbows and your head. It's almost like caterpillar-y in the way it works. So you're moving down your mat just a few millimetres at a time. That's doing wonderful things inside your body. And then we'll just gradually walk the top part of the body away from the feet in those little caterpillar-y movements. And then you're going to pull in your bolster. And we're going to squash the bolster between our heels and our sit bones. And you're going to roll the bolster underneath your lower back. So somewhere between the lower back and the middle back. And hopefully the ribs are going to sort of expand. And we're just going to keep the right leg bent and stretch the left heel away from us and stretch the right arm above. So it's like opposite. So the left heel and the right arm are stretching. And then we'll bring the right arm back in and we'll bend the left leg and we'll stretch the heel of the right leg away. Feel the opening in the front of the right hip, stretching the left arm away, stretching the hand and the foot in opposition. Feel the movement in the belly. And come back in, bend both the legs, so feet are on the ground again. And we're just going to stay here in this supported bridge pose. And if anybody would like a different bolster, just give me a wave and I can come and exchange one with you. Good, okay. So releasing the shoulders. And you notice that the heart is below the hips. So this is an inversion, which invites the circulation and movement of liquid in the body to change. So just let that ratio of up to down be the work, the passive work. Release the jaw down towards the top of the chest, inviting ease into the body. A little bit of space between the upper and the lower jaw. And trusting in the process. So you might get some sensation in the belly, gurgling. Or just like a different feeling in the belly. There's nothing to do. There's not much effort to make. And allow the breath to slow. And feel the body held on the ground. Letting go. And trusting that the ground has you held safely. And we're going to raise and lower the heels. So feel the movement in the soles of the feet, spreading the toes as you raise the heels. And then we're going to bend the right leg and wrap the hands around the right leg. So bent knee, just casually interlacing hands around the right knee. And let the shoulders be heavy, there's no work to be done. It's just like tying a rope and letting it dangle. And then we'll put the hands behind the leg and reach the right heel up towards the ceiling. And if you wanted to circle your foot, that would be fine, that would be good. Letting the face soften. And then sort of drawing the toes down towards you and pressing the heel away. And we're going to look with the head from left to right. Just letting the head move as much as it comfortably will. And then we'll bend the left leg and take it up, and so the left leg is up and the right leg's come back down again. So we'll circle the left foot and we're sort of draining the leg of liquid or inviting circulation to flow in a different way. And then we'll press the heel towards the ceiling and the toes towards us. Feeling that little bit of tension, and then we'll relax the foot. Now we'll raise both feet up to the ceiling. And do feel free to sort of move the elbows and the shoulders around. And sometimes I quite like to just cross my legs at my ankles just to sort of keep things in place, but entirely up to you. So we're releasing the shoulders. And letting the belly gargle or relax or do whatever it needs to do.
Maybe you can feel like the warmth in the face, the shoulders, around the heart.
Let's just raise the arms up.
As if we were sort of hanging from the rope with our arms as well. Just really get the circulation moving in a different way. Tuning into sensation, tingling. Maybe there's warmth, coolness.
Let the shoulders relax, so it's not much effort, but a little bit. We'll circle the wrists. Just notice what sounds might come. And then we'll bend the knees and we'll sort of come into more like an upside down child's pose. So we're just crossing the arms on the lower leg and letting the thighs descend towards the chest. Let the weight of the shoulders be heavy. And just feel in this sort of embryonic shape. We'll stay a few more breaths. And then we'll just ease our heels downwards. We'll stay here a few more breaths. You might feel some differences in the belly. It's very good for decongesting the lower belly. And then we're going to straighten. So I suggest you straighten your left leg. We're going to turn onto our left side. And you want the bolster to be under the middle of the body, just where the ribs, sort of between the ribs and the hips. And you're going to put your head onto a block, one block or two, so that your head doesn't feel uncomfortable. And on your side, you can bend your legs, and your left arm is sort of free, left shoulder's free. And maybe you want to take your right arm up above you and drop your upper arm down by your ear. And if that's not comfortable, please just find another place to put your arm, maybe just down, resting on your waist. And let the shoulders sag. And then we're going to just roll over onto our backs for a moment and then just sort of shuffle the other way. So you're just turning over like you're turning over in bed, if you like, to turn on to the other side. Let the shoulder relax. And just let the weight of the body become more evident. Maybe exploring with the left arm on top, maybe reaching, seeing what feels good for your own shoulders and arms. See if you can release both shoulders so that they sort of sink towards the ground. And then we're going to roll over onto one side and come up to seated. And just stretch the legs forwards, take the arms back. Let's circle the feet again, just resting. So we're going to take the right leg and just bend it and rest it across the left leg. You might want to put a bolster underneath that bent leg. Then we're going to lean towards the bent leg to begin with. And then we're going to lean to the other side. So you might want to bring in your blocks. We're just going to lean to the other side. Just going to stay here on this side for a few breaths, half a minute or so. And go back over to the other side. You can decide what you want to do with the arm. And you can explore where your weight wants to be, whether you want to lean a bit more forwards, or a bit to the side, or a bit backwards. And we'll turn all the way to the front and come back up. Take the leg forwards. And we're going to do the same version of caterpillar pose that we did last week. You're just bringing the bolster onto your legs, as long as that's comfortable. Leaning forwards, just resting the head in the hands. following the breath. And we'll come up, take the hands behind and lean backwards. Remember last week we used the bolsters a lot to just give this sort of earthing feel. Just being really aware of your own weight and gravity. And then we're going to take the bolster to the other side. Across the leg. So maybe just sort of rolling around a little bit on the sit bones. And we'll have a little lean to this side first. And then go to the other side. Just taking it over. And even when we're leaning to one side or the other, just sort of letting the body be heavy. Feel that downwards gravity. It's like you're sort of melting. And we'll come back up. And then this time we're just going to take the legs wide. Or just as wide as feels good for you. And we'll take the bolster in front. And you could either do the head on the bolster leaning forwards. Or hugging the bolster. Whichever way feels good to you. When you invite the gravity to just sort of melt the body down, it really is that sort of letting go, relaxing into, so not holding on but letting go. letting go in the shoulders, around the heart. And sort of the longer we stay in a pose, you might find a little bit of space opens up, or something just wants to give a little more. Like you might find the knees want to roll a little bit further out to the sides. The belly might want to soften. And let's sort of turn the head, keeping the chin quite close to the shoulder. Turn the chin to the left. And then take it over to the right. And we'll move the body from side to side, just sort of exploring the edges of the sides of the body. And we'll come back up to center. And we'll just put the legs on top of the bolster to relieve the lower back. And we'll do a little bit of seated cat-cow. So you're just sort of rolling your belly forwards and taking the shoulders back, looking up. And then bowing the head, taking the shoulders forward. And a couple more times. Finding where the edge of the range of movement is. Good. So we're going to cross the legs. And you might want to put a block in. So you want to feel like the outside of the leg, the IT bands. And maybe have a little glide and a bow. And then you want the blocks in to take up the sort of edge of, you don't want to feel like you're hanging in the air unless you love that feeling. And then for the head, just going to put the head onto the bolster again and lean forwards. It's a real sense of support coming from below, at the sides and in the front. Shoulders heavy and soft, nothing to do, nowhere to go. Loosening the jaw, loosening the shoulders. Couple more deeper breaths. And then just simply allowing yourself to come back up to seated. We'll take the box out. And we're just going to come to sort of like a side position, just pretty chilled and relaxed. So there's the stretching and opening in each of the poses, and then there's the after effect. So what does that feel like in your body when you then come out of a pose? Let's maybe shake the head around a little bit. Forwards and backwards. And then we're going to come up onto hands and knees. And we're going to do a very soft, little bit of cat cowing with the spine. And then a very soft downward dog. So we're just going to kind of half, just not too wide, somewhere between a dangle and a down dog. Knees are a bit bent. We're just sort of letting everything be soft. And we'll come back down again. So we're going to roll the bolster back, take the hands forwards and drop down. You might want to take a block with you to put your head on. Make it, so it's comfortable enough, supportive enough. And then let's drop the hips backwards and take it into child's pose. So maybe just turning the bolster around and pulling it in towards your belly and dropping downwards. Softening the lower back. And then you're just going to slowly come up for a little moment, but only enough of a moment to then let yourself return to the ground, coming into Shavasana, so socks on, blankets on, eye pillows on as you lay all the way down. Make sure you're warm. If anybody needs anything, let me know. Everybody got eye pillows? You got one? Eye pillows? Yes, you got one. Is that one there? Yeah. So nice and cosy. Do you want an eye pillow? Try and... yeah. It's like a toy blanket, isn't it? Where is it gone? Oh, I don't know. Oh yes, there it is. Sort of getting really snuggled in. Swap here. And coming down to the last part of our evening practice. I think I'm going to start it with a poem tonight. Which is called Let It Go. Let go of the ways you thought life would unfold, the holding of plans or dreams or expectations. Let it all go. Save your strength to swim with the tide. The choice to fight what is here before you now will only result in struggle, fear, and desperate attempts to flee from the very energy you long for. Let go. Let it all go and flow with the grace that washes through your days, whether you receive it gently or with all your quills raised to defend against invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. Let go, and the wave's crest will carry you to unknown shores, beyond your wildest dreams or destinations. Let it all go, and find the place of rest and peace and certain transformation. So just letting the body be heavy, melting towards the ground. So it's that sort of relinquishing tension or the need to do, and being happy to marinate in the being. So letting everything soften, as if your whole body were just melting a little bit. Breathing around and through the body. Almost imagining the breath like a wave travelling from crown of head downwards as you exhale, inwards and upwards as you inhale. So exhaling, flowing downwards, inhaling, feeling the breath travelling up the body from the toes and fingers to the crown of the head. Flowing downwards on the exhalations, upwards on the inhalations. Bring awareness to the space between the eyebrows. Imagine that you're gazing outwards onto a broad horizon of infinite space and potential. And then imagine that vision gazing back inwards at another infinite space of potential. And what we're simply going to do now is a drawing that takes us on a journey around the body's edges. So perhaps choose a colour or a line. Perhaps it's light. Perhaps it's more like a paint or a pastel, but we're going to draw a line around the body. So we'll start with the crown of the head. So just imagining starting at the top of the left ear, and we're going to trace the contours of the crown of the head all the way over to the top of the right ear. And then as if we were drawing a line around the right ear, you feel all of the different shapes and textures, and from where the ear meets the face and jaw and travel down the neck towards the right shoulder, drawing a line out around the edge of the shoulder, down the upper arm, outer upper arm, to the elbow, down the forearm, towards the wrist, outlining the thumb and travelling up the palm towards the apex of the index finger, travelling down and all the way up to the tip of the middle finger, travelling down and all the way up to the top of the ring finger, all the way down and up to the top of the little finger, and all the way down the outer edge of the little finger to the wrist, to the elbow, to the armpit, and down the side of the right ribs, waist, hip, to the outer right thigh, knee, tracing your way down the leg to the outside of the right ankle, around the bottom of the right foot, little toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, big toe, around the contours of the foot to the arch, heel, calf, knee, travelling up the inner thigh to the top, and crossing over to the top of the left thigh and down, tracing a line to the inner knee, all the way down to the ankle, round the heel, arch of the foot, ball of the foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and little toe, to the outside of the foot, around the ankle, tracing the line up to the outside of the knee, to the outside of the hip, hip bone, side of waist, ribs, armpit, down the inside of the arm to the elbow, to where the elbow travels down to meet the wrist, to the little fingertip, travelling down to the tip of the ring finger, travelling down to the tip of the middle finger, travelling down and to the tip of the index finger, travelling down and to the tip of the thumb, travelling down the thumb to the wrist, to the elbow, all the way up to the shoulder, to where the shoulder meets the neck, travelling up the neck to where the ear meets the face, around the ear, and connecting the whole line. Feel that whole line that surrounds the body with a colour and a texture. The whole line breathing as the body breathes, undulating with the breath. The whole body, the whole body, the whole body surrounded in colour. The whole body breathing. Now starting to draw that colour from the outside of the body inwards, as if the whole body was being coloured, colour working its way from the outside to the inside. The whole body washed in colour. The whole body held in colour. Now connecting with the back of the body, letting the image of the colour fade, the back of the body, sensing the weight of the head, back of the shoulders, back of the arms and hands, spine, ribs, lower back, tip of the tailbone, sit bones, backs of legs, the whole body resting on the earth. Becoming again aware of the breath. Aware of the breath coming and going. And the idea of the breath again travelling down the body on the exhale and travelling up the body on the inhale. Travelling down the body on the exhale, up the body on the inhale. Down the body on the exhale, up the body on the inhale. Now re-arriving in the body, feeling the whole body supported, the whole body wrapped in a blanket, cocooned and safe. So coming back to this evening, back to the here and now with wakefulness, taking in the sounds and the sensation of the body. Knowing that our practice of Yoga Nidra is coming to a close. Having a little stretch. And just sort of returning into conscious awareness of being fully inside your body, fully inhabited. Waking up and just as and when you're ready, rolling to your side. And as you're ready, coming slowly and steadily back to seated. So just let's end the last minute just with conscious breath. So just following the breath from the nostrils, noticing when the temperature of the breath warms and becomes invisible, and the breath turns into the sensation of fullness in the body. And the feeling of the warmth of the breath as you exhale. So switching on the senses of listening, maybe opening the eyes, of seeing, perhaps even of taste in the mouth, sensation on the skin. And we'll just warm the palms by giving them a little rub. And just rest the hands over the eyes. Thank you very much for coming out. So it's our half-term break next week. So let me know how you got on. So I'll send the recording out tomorrow morning. And yeah.